Oh, hello there. I just want to show you some sample watercolor techniques on here that we're going to be using today. The first thing you need to do is just activate your watercolors. If they haven't been used for a while, you might find that you need quite a little bit of water and just stir it in with your brush a little bit to get the watercolors lifted from there. Okay, the first square that I want us to do is just a plain square where you just paint it in a uniform manner with watercolor. Okay, then if you want to use a different color for the second one, which is a gradient is when we've got going from dark to light, or it could be light to dark, whichever way you want it. If you want to choose a different color, make sure you rinse your brush thoroughly. Here I'm going to choose some red. And for the gradient, let's pick a little bit more paint. I want it a little bit brighter than this. Okay, you're going to colour it about halfway through, then rinse your brush completely. Wipe it on the edge to drain a little bit of the water on the edge of your water container, and brush it down, pulling some of the paint down. Okay. So you can see now it's going from dark at the top to light, and you've got your gradient. Once you have done this, you might want to go back in the top area to get this a little brighter. Okay, and stretching it down a little bit. We've also got, one I forgot actually here. Pen down. I'm getting a little bit too much water. If you start having too much water in your paint, just wipe your brush with a paper towel and then comb with the brush. You can see the water is not coming away, making it a little bit drier for you to pull the paint and get better gradient on there. Okay, I've forgotten the blending square on here. So we'll add a square and blending, and we'll add another one for lifting. So we now have a full range of techniques we can use to do our butterfly. Okay, so the layer one is when you put layers of either the same or different colors on your watercolor on top of one another. To do the layers properly, we're going to need to wait that our paints dry. So I'm doing the layers now, and I will come back to them at the end. The marks, that one is same. I'm going to come back to it at the end and just do one plain layer. On here I've decided to do green. So I'm going to do a mid-tone layer of green, not too dark, not too light. And when it is dry, I will come back to it and work on top of it. For the blending, you work in a slightly different manner. So you're going to wet the square area first on your paper. Okay. Then pick up one of your colours. We'll get a bit of yellow on here. A bit of blue on here. And I'm going to colour about halfway through my square with that colour. You can see it starts blending onto the other side of the area. I think I've got a bit too much water. I drain a little bit of the water with my brush. So I dry my brush, and then when it's dry I put on there, and it just drinks a little bit of the water for me. Okay, then I'm getting some yellow and blending those colours together. So I'm doing the same thing with the yellow, and when the colour meet, you can see they're starting to mix together. So very gently with my brush, I might help them mix together a little bit, but you don't want to work it too much. You want to let the watercolour work on its own there and its own blending. I just want to go back in the blue, put a little bit more blue in the top area. And same, leave it to blend on its own in the middle. Okay, I'm going to come back to my layer technique with a bit of red, and I'm layering the red on top of the orange. The yellow, you can see, gives you orange or red depending where you are on there. The watercolor is transparent paint, so your layers would show through one another, so the bottom layers would show through the top layers and so on. Okay, the mark one is now dry enough, I think, to get back on it. So I'm going to pick up the same color, just a little bit more than same color on there. So I want a really, I'm trying to pick as much as I can to get a really strong color on there. Okay, and I'm going to go over the top. It's very similar to layering, and do a range of marks on there. So that would be helpful when you paint your butterfly. You're going to be able to use that kind of tone on tone layering to add some of the mark making on your butterfly. Okay, we'll do some more layers when that middle layer's dried. I'll add the last layer on there. I also want to show you lifting. So lifting, I'm going to choose a different color, darker blue. Okay, and put a generous layer of paint on there. A bit too much water, same. Getting rid of some of the water on there. So lifting allows you to take some of the paint back if you've got a little bit too dark. Okay, so you can do it two ways. You can either do it rinsing your brush and coming in with a clean brush and getting that brush, can you see how it's lifting the color and getting a lighter tint on there? Okay, or you can come in with your tissue and just dab it along and lift some of the color on there. So if you've gone too dark in one area of your butterfly, that might be something useful to do on there. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of blue for the last layer of my layer box on here. I'm going to do diagonal now, and you can see how you get some greeny purpley tones and so on, so you can keep on layering it to have a mixture of rich colors